Chow mung ban din voi han tren teep theo qua James va Diep. James and Diep sat together, sharing their thoughts. If my father says anything inappropriate to you, I want to apologize in advance, James said softly, his gaze fixed on Diep. It's okay, she replied, giving him a small reassuring smile. If I were in your father's shoes, I might understand his feelings. The truth is, I don't really know how to make him understand that my feelings for you are real. I know how he feels though. If I were him, I'd probably be just as uncomfortable with this situation. James nodded thoughtfully. But if he were me, he'd probably react the same way, he said. I think the most important thing now is to prove to him how serious we are. He sighed, a hint of uncertainty in his voice. Honestly, sometimes I doubt my own actions. I'm not sure what to do, but I think the first step is to get checked, to make sure everything is clear before we make any decisions. I agree, Diep said, her voice steady. I've never been with anyone else, so how could I be pregnant? But I understand why we need to go through with this. I think we need to know for sure. James smiled at her, his hand resting gently on hers. I've already made an appointment with the doctor, he said. We'll go together. Just give me a moment, okay? I'm hoping everything will be fine. He paused for a moment, looking at her with a mixture of determination and tenderness. I'll be right here for you. We'll get through this together. James and Diep stepped out of the house and walked together to the doctor's office. As they reached the door, they happened to run into Tung. Tung. Hello, James. Tung called out, waving. Hello, Mr. Tung. Diep smiled and nodded. Tung looked at them, his expression curious. Where are you two going? James replied calmly. I'm taking Diep to see the doctor. Tung nodded and replied. I have some work here, so I came by to visit Diep. Maybe we can meet up next time. James looked at Tung and smiled. Thanks, but right now I need to take Diep to the doctor. We can catch up next time. Diep gently squeezed James's hand, then turned to Tung. We'll meet next time. We have to go now. Tung waved goodbye with a smile. Take care, I'm off now. Good luck. James and Diep continued walking hand in hand, heading to the doctor's office, ready for the next steps in this important journey. They arrived at the doctor's office. Hello, doctor. James greeted as they entered. Hello. How can I help you today? The doctor asked. James turned to the doctor. Please check if she is pregnant. All right, please lie down on the bed, the doctor said as he began the examination. After a moment, the doctor looked at Diep and said, I've checked and you're not pregnant. The symptoms you've been experiencing are usually due to a condition called cerebral circulation disorder, which can cause dizziness, headaches, and nausea, or it could be from low blood pressure. Diep was relieved but still looked uncertain. I had dizziness and nausea, so I thought I might be pregnant. You're not pregnant, the doctor confirmed. These symptoms are not related to pregnancy. It's something else entirely. She's not pregnant, is she, doctor? James asked, looking at the doctor for reassurance. I'm sure she's not pregnant. It's just symptoms caused by something else. I'll write a prescription for you to ease the symptoms. Once you take the medication, you should feel better. Don't worry, the doctor reassured them. Thank you, doctor, James said, relief washing over him. I had a feeling it wasn't pregnancy, James said to Diep as they left the doctor's office. Don't worry, here's the prescription. You can pick up the medicine at the pharmacy. Diep smiled, feeling more at ease now. Thank you, I feel better now. I was really worried, but now I feel more relaxed. James nodded and gave her a reassuring smile. Like I said, the chances of you being pregnant were very low. These kinds of symptoms could be caused by many different things, and the doctor also only suspected, not confirmed, pregnancy. So don't worry anymore. Thank you for being with me through all of this, Diep said softly, feeling much calmer now. After the checkup, to help Diep relax, James decided to take her on a camping trip. Now, I'm going to take you to relax a little. It's a bit crowded here, so it's hard to move around. The speed limit here is 80 kilometers per hour, James said as he drove. Let's go to a spot where we can turn around. Where should we go today? Today we'll have a picnic here. I want us to eat and rest here, he continued. Eat outdoors, right? Diep asked. Wait for me outside while I get the stuff from the trunk. Let me help you, Diep said as she quickly offered to assist. James responded. We'll start by cutting some firewood first. He also pulled out a knife from the back of the car. You've got a lot of things, Diep said with a smile. This is my first time going on a camping trip, she said, looking around excitedly. Now we'll gather some firewood and then we'll start a fire, James explained, leading the way. The trail they walked was narrow. Be careful, the path is a bit narrow. It's probably a path leading into the woods, James said. It's been a while since I've been in a forest like this, James remarked with nostalgia. Diep nodded as she continued walking. Where are you going? James asked. I'll go first, you stay behind, she said with a chuckle. They arrived at a pile of firewood. I'll grab the wood. Let me cut it into smaller pieces, James said. Cutting it shorter will make it easier to handle, Diep suggested. They both gathered more firewood and decided to venture further to gather a little more. It looks like someone might have been here before, Diep said. It's near a road, so maybe this place was used by people before. Let's set up here, James said, pointing to a clear area. We can bring the food and stay here. I'm not sure, though. Is it safe from wildfires? Diep asked. It's fine. As long as we clean up after ourselves, we should be okay, James reassured her. They began organizing the area and gathered firewood. Let's gather a bit more firewood before we bring the food, James said. All right, we're almost done, Diep replied. Thank goodness we came during summer, fewer mosquitoes, Diep commented, relaxing as the day began to cool. Now let's go cut some banana leaves for our shelter, James suggested. I see there are no banana trees here in the forest. Diep agreed and they moved to another area to gather banana leaves. That's enough, Diep said as she held out a handful of leaves. James took the leaves from her and said, Let's set up the shelter here. Now we'll start the fire, Diep said but paused. I forgot to bring a lighter. I have one, James replied. I've watched survival shows with Edward James Stafford. Today, I'll start a fire using just my hands. Diep looked on with interest. Can you do it? I'll give it a try, James said, confidently beginning the process. He worked hard trying to create sparks, but it wasn't easy. Let me try again, James muttered, concentrating. Diep watched him closely, unsure but hopeful. After several attempts, Diep commented, It's getting hot now, I think it's starting to work. James gave a determined nod. I think we're close. The process was long and tiring, but James persisted with Diep by his side. It's starting to smoke, James said, finally showing signs of progress. Good job. You're doing great, Diep encouraged him. Eventually, they managed to create a small fire. Finally, we got it, James said with relief, wiping sweat from his forehead. Diep smiled. See, you did it. James sat down, exhausted. That was harder than I thought, he admitted. You did well, Diep said, giving him some water to help him cool down. I thought it was going to be simple, but it turned out to be a lot more difficult. James chuckled. I watch those survival shows all the time, but I never realized how hard it would be when I actually tried it myself. They both laughed together, feeling the satisfaction of their hard work. The fire was now burning brightly, and the warmth added to the peaceful atmosphere of their picnic. They were ready to enjoy their meal together, grateful for the experience and the moments they had shared. They then started gathering more firewood. James threw a little more into the fire to get it going. We need more wood to make enough charcoal, he said, adding more to the fire. They spent the day cooking, gathering, and chatting in the peaceful surroundings. I think it's done, Diep said, looking at the fire. James nodded. I think we need to chop some bamboo to set up here, he suggested. Diep looked at him, smiling. I'll get it. They continued their work together, preparing their camping setup. Oh, be careful, James warned as Diep started handling the bamboo, worried she might hurt herself. I'm fine, she said. You don't have to worry. As they worked, James smiled. This is the first time I've done something like this in a while. It's a lot of fun. Diep laughed softly. Yeah, me too. I never thought I'd be out here doing this with you. After preparing the space, they sat down for their meal. Thank you for today, James, Diep said. I had a great time. It's been so long since you've taken me somewhere like this. I was thinking about taking you further away, but I really love nature, and I think it's rare for people to go out and date like this, James explained. So let's just enjoy this. Don't worry about what my dad said. Stay positive and face everything with courage," he added, reassuring her. Diep nodded, her eyes soft. "I'll try. I really want to face everything head-on now." James smiled and gently took her hand. "I'm really happy that you're facing things with me now. Hiding away isn't a good solution." As they sat and enjoyed their meal, James continued, "You know, we need to face the challenges in love, so we can overcome them together. We'll be stronger for it." They shared their food together and enjoyed each other's company, surrounded by the peaceful nature. Later, as they finished their picnic, James noticed how happy Diep looked. "I really like this peaceful place. It's so quiet and calm." Diep smiled. "I'm glad you brought me here. It feels so peaceful, away from everything else." "Next time," James said, "I'll make sure we have everything ready, including a proper fire starter." Diep laughed. "I hope next time we won't need to struggle with making a fire." After cleaning up and packing everything away, they headed back. James had a meeting to attend, and Diep said her goodbyes, heading home. "Thanks so much for today, I had a great time." James smiled. "I did too. Be careful and take care." "Go home safely," Diep said, watching him leave. "I'll see you soon." "Stay safe and I'll see you soon," James replied before heading off to his meeting. "So everything has been resolved now?" Diep looked at the chickens and asked, "Are you hungry now?" "You're getting bigger and cuter," she said. "I'll go chop some banana trees to feed the chickens and ducks." Here, food's ready. Don't fight over it." "Look at the dog. Hockey, you've grown up, huh? Remember, don't go wandering around." Then Diep sat down deep in thought. "I wonder if James' father will still accept me. I hope James' father will understand and be sympathetic towards me, because my feelings for James are sincere." Diep picked up the phone and called James. "Hello, James, is that you? How's work this afternoon?" "Everything good. What are you doing now?" "I'm reading a book." "What book is it?" "The Art of Speaking and Winning Hearts. I'm just looking through this book to understand it more." "Why are you calling me?" "I wanted to call because tonight I have a shareholder meeting in the city, so I won't be able to visit you. Just wanted to check in." "It's okay, you focus on work. You can come visit me whenever you're free." "Have you taken care of the chickens and ducks?" "I fed them earlier. You can keep reading your book."
Lại.
Từ đâu ai ạ? Diệp về nhà, con cháu cún chạy ra đón cô bế nó lên, ngồi tâm sự với nó rằng đang rất lo cho James. Một lúc sau, bố của James đến hỏi Diệp tình hình thế nào. Diệp kể lại rằng James đã bị bắt cóc, nhưng cô không nhớ họ nói là đến đâu để chuộc James. Một lát thì bố của James nhận được điện thoại của bọn bắt cóc. Chúng yêu cầu ông đến nơi này một mình để chuộc James. Ông đồng ý và lên xe đi thẳng tới đó. Cùng lúc ông gọi điện báo cho cán bộ an ninh sự việc nắm tình hình. Các cán bộ cũng tức tốc chạy xe máy ra chỗ James bị bắt. Tại nơi James bị bắt, James cũng đã tỉnh, nhưng tay chân bị trói. Tên cầm đầu đến và nhận ra James. Hắn nói với đàn em, chúng mày ăn hại. Bắt James là người giàu nhất vùng này, tai họa sắp đến rồi. Hắn vào cởi trói cho James và bảo rằng bọn đàn em nó không biết anh, chúng chỉ được thuê làm việc đó. Chúng xin lỗi James, xin James tha thứ. James đồng ý nhưng bảo rằng chúng sẽ phối hợp với anh để diễn một vở kịch. Cùng lúc đó, bố của James đã đến nơi yêu cầu người ra lệnh bắt cóc James. Ngay sau, các ông cán bộ an ninh cũng tới. Họ tản ra đi tìm nhưng không thấy James. Bố James gọi điện cho tay chủ mưu. Hắn nói đã đổi địa điểm, muốn James an toàn thì đừng báo công an. Sau khi nhận cuộc gọi, ông cảm ơn các cán bộ và Diệp. Mọi người về nghỉ ngơi, có tin gì ông sẽ báo. Diệp lại trở về nhà, lòng tràn đầy lo lắng. Cô ngồi băm cây quấy cho gà, sau đó đi tắm rửa, giặt quần áo. Con chó chạy ra chia sẻ với cô. Cô thấy nó và cô cùng đói nên cô đi nấu cơm, tráng trứng để ăn. Mâm cơm bày lên nhưng không có lòng nào để ăn. Cô dặn làm ăn xong sẽ đi ra văn phòng của James xem anh có về không. Cô đi lại trước cửa hồi lâu rồi ngồi xuống, lòng tràn đầy lo lắng. Màn đêm buông xuống, lòng cô nặng trĩu. Xin cảm ơn các bạn. Mời các bạn đón xem tập tiếp theo của diễn biến của tập tiếp theo nhé.